Often talk about TV royalty here on the show, people that have made a true impact into the world of television. Well, coming up next year in 2023, there's going to be a brand new drama over here on the ITV network, starring the brilliant actress Helena Bonham Carter. She, of course, of things like Howard's End and all that sort of stuff. Incredible actress, very, very versatile indeed. And she's going to be taking on the role of this particular TV icon, an icon that, in fact, was the very first person ever to interview a British Prime Minister on television. Let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London, and as ever, nice to see you today. If, like me, particularly you lived in the United Kingdom, and I think the show was shown in the likes of Canada and New Zealand, you will remember this. Oh yes, the twanging guitar sound of Crossroads, the Crossroads Motel, which was looked after for 17 plus years by this actress, Noel Gordon. Now, Noel Gordon was very famously sacked in the early 80s from the ATV network, and it created front page news. It was a dramatic story, bigger than anything that could have happened in the Midland soap. That's right. I was lucky enough to meet quite a few people who worked on the show, including Sir David Jason, who told me he had a guest appearance on the show. And on the very first day, he turned up at rehearsals at the ATV studios in Birmingham and was told he could sit in this particular chair. He wondered why it was empty. Of course, when Miss Gordon turned up with dark glasses, white headscarf, and a cigarette holder, he knew exactly why they played a trick on him. It was her chair, and apparently, according to him, she said, yes, you may sit there for now. Now, as I say, Noel Gordon was spectacularly fired from her leading role in the early 80s, and this is going to be becoming part of a brand new drama for the ITV network. And as I say, Helena Bonham Carter is going to be playing that particular character. Feisty lady, to say the least. This particular lady here, Joanne Good, played a major part in the soap way back in the 70s, of which she played a mechanic. That's right. Very controversial then, female mechanics, let me tell you. She had a wonderful time on the show and recounts many of those experiences on her radio show. But what was interesting, which I didn't realise, is that Noel Gordon herself was a groundbreaker. She started out on live TV and really hosted the very first, if you like, daily chat show in the veins of things like The View and Loose Women, but a lot more classy, let me tell you. She was also, as I say, the very first female TV host to interview a sitting Prime Minister. That was Neville Chamberlain at the time. She interviewed him at a football match, and she was very funny about the sort of recounted it and said, she could ask him anything, but he was just very good at slipping away and not really answering many questions. It's funny, isn't it, to think that these particular people, these icons of television, have had amazing careers, and this sort of thing really gets swept under the carpet. It was a big deal. It would still be a big deal today in many cases, because, if you think about it, we had the reverse effect of the very first man to interview Margaret Thatcher. That must have been terrifying. But for Noel Gordon, of course, her life story is played out to great sort of dramatic effect, as I say, in this brand new drama documentary. If you liked Crossroads or you enjoy soaps in general, this really will be the show for you. And it just proves, as I often say here on the show, it's always about, you could be the biggest superstar, the biggest ratings puller ever, but if the bosses say they've had enough, or they feel the public have had enough for you, then that's it, you're out. And that's exactly what happened to the daytime soap queen of ATV land, the star of Crossroads herself, Noel Gordon. Definitely not one to miss if you get the opportunity. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.